this conversation presented by White House Custom Color. I'm Jed Toffer. White House Custom Color is a premier professional photography and press printing lab serving photographers around the globe. Be sure to check us out at whcc.com. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, my name is Nicollette Mollet. I am a photographer in Dallas, Texas. And aside from commercial work, I have a senior portrait business where my work and aesthetic is focused on fashion and beauty and bringing that to the senior portrait experience.
What's the commercial work look like?
So one of my main clients right now is Mint Dentistry, which is mainly, it's a Texas, right now they're based in Texas. And so I have some of my work on billboards in Dallas and Houston, which is really cool.
But the senior stuff is like what you really dive into? Is that fair to say? Or is it 50-50 or what does that look like for you?
You know, I would say that my fashion work is kind of like my artwork in a way. It's like it's the stuff that I don't have as much time for because my senior stuff takes up so much of my time.
Right.
But I mean, my senior stuff, it's like has such a deep place in my heart because it's emotionally fulfilling for me as well. Versus,
is that right?
Yeah, I mean, on an emotional standpoint. Now, my fashion work is more like, ooh, I'm really proud of this, can't wait to post it. But with seniors, It's like I create deep relationships with these seniors and their parents. Yeah. So it's, yeah.
How long have you been doing it?
Seniors?
Well, just photography in general.
So I experimented with photography for the first time in middle school. Is that right? Yes, when America's Next Top Model was in its prime.
Yeah. My wife loved that show.
Really? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I would say that was my inspiration for photography. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of started with having like sleepovers with my friends. We would like pretend to be on the show and like take pictures of each other.
That was the Make It Work guy, right? Make It Work?
Make It Work.
Wasn't that Tim Gunn? Or I'm thinking of Project Runway.
Oh, yeah. Different show.
America's Next Top Model.
Yeah,
who
with Tyra
that?
Banks.
Tyra. Oh, I remember that now, too.
Yes.
Jeez. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, I'm looking back at that show now.
I was mixing up my late 2000s shows.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, Tyra. Now I'm on the same page.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So do you remember Zanga?
No.
Oh, man. Surely you remember MySpace.
I do. I remember Zanga. I remember MySpace a lot more.
Okay, yeah. So Zanga was pre-MySpace.
I didn't do anything with Zanga.
Okay, so that was in middle school. That was what we did.
That was the thing.
That was the thing right before MySpace. And so, I would take pictures of my friends, and then like, my dad had this like little editing software on his laptop, and so I would take the pictures and like, I mean, they just like jack them all up with like editing and
right.
Yeah. And
lots of stuff you could do.
Yeah. I mean, and we would try to recreate like the pictures from the show and like put like leaves and like teaser hair.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, I'm just now remembering this story.
Good.
I remember my friend Victoria, we teased the heck out of her hair so bad that we could not brush it out, and we had to put like oil in it and like conditioner, and it
I don't even know how you fix that.
Bad.
I don't even know what you do. I don't even know what you do.
I mean, I think she would just I don't remember.
Cut it off and start over.
I mean, she was almost at that point. But yeah, so that was really fun. And then so got into high school. I took a photojournalism class. Didn't like it very much, but
why not?
Because I was so interested in fashion and stuff.
Yeah.
They would make us take pictures of like sports or
right.
like the sports team,
things you
give us assignments. Yeah.
And things you knew you weren't going to do.
Right.
Right.
But anyway, I was a nerd, so of course I did my,
right.
But
you did your time.
Yeah. And also took yearbook. Hated it. Didn't want to take pictures of sports or like, but I did experiment a lot with my camera and editing, and that's where I also learned Photoshop. Mm-hmm. So, and also my dad got me this like super janky photo studio set with like these lights that were so bad, but that's kind of where I started with studio, was in high school.
Who's this dad you keep talking about? He seems like he was fairly supportive of you, though.
He was. My dad, or he is. He still is.
Right.
My dad's an amazing guy. He's always, both my parents have always supported me and encouraged me.
Really?
So,
that's really good news.
Yeah. They've always just said, whatever you want to do.
Well, and now you're doing what it was. In a sense, you're doing what it was that you were, quote unquote, dreaming of doing.
Yes.
In the Project Runway days.
Yeah.
Right?
Or America's Next Top Model days.
I'm so sorry. America's Next Top Model with Tyra Banks days.
Tyra Banks.
Right. Like, you're doing that now. Like, the teasing of Victoria's hair. Now you're helping people do that and actually styling shoots.
Now I have professionals teasing models' hair.
For real. Yeah. So so you're not going to have to worry about it coming out anytime soon, right?
They know how to tease correctly.
So now that that's happened, and that's what you do, and you look back and you see that that's what you aspired to do at one point, are you surprised?
No, because I've always kind of had this, I know I can do what I set my mind to kind of mentality.
You come across that way.
Well, thank you.
That's why I'm not surprised that you didn't say that you weren't surprised, because I thought you weren't. It seems like you're just like, this is what I was going to do. I didn't like shooting sports. I didn't like photographing the yearbook because I wanted to do this other stuff. And now you're actually doing that.
Yeah. Well, I knew I always wanted to do something in fashion. Whether that was journalism, because I also love to write, or whether that was design, because I love fashion and styling. And it wasn't until, really, like right at the very end, because I almost went to TCU.
Oh, Horned Frogs? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then I was like, you know what? I also got a really good scholarship from the Art Institute. And so I was like, I need to do photography, fashion photography, because it was a hobby and I really loved it. But I was just kind of like teetering. I didn't know where I wanted to go with it. And just like the last minute, I finally made my decision. I was like, it's what I'm good at.
So what does starting your own business look like then, like from an entrepreneurial standpoint?
Yeah. So my answer to this is kind of different from a lot of photographers.
Okay.
Because back to what we were saying, where did the senior portraits start?
Yeah.
So one day I was walking in the hallway and I was a junior, and one of my friends was like, hey, my mom said she'll pay you to take my senior pictures. And I was like, what?
Really?
I can make money doing this? And so senior portraits came, that was just like,
boom,
wow, I can, okay.
Yeah.
And so I charged $5 a photo.
Okay.
Yeah. Come a long way.
Did you give her a lot of photos?
Yeah, I did. I remember it was about like 30 pictures.
Okay.
Yeah, and I edited the heck out of them.
Right.
And yeah, actually, I'm still kind of proud of those pictures.
Those very first
senior pictures, because I look back and I was so inspired to give it a fashion look.
Right.
Because that's what I was wanting to do, was fashion. I just love fashion.
Right.
And she did too, and she was gorgeous. So we just like had a blast, and we were shooting all day.
Right.
I gotta find those.
Yeah, you should.
I gotta find. They really were.
If you don't know where they are, you need to find those.
Man, hard drives and computers.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
But I gotta find those. But anyway, so then that started like a trend. And a bunch of my friends started coming to me like, take my senior pictures. And so I was like, man, I'm making bank.
Right.
So I never had a job before that. And so I've got like, whoa, $100 in my bank account. This is amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and it just, since then, I've just gradually grown the business. And anytime, and so like someone asked me today at the Push conference, where to start with pricing. And that is a question that every photographer has. Even I still, every now and then I'll come to like a halt where I'm like, where do I go with this?
Right.
And I just think that the way that I approached it, I learned things the hard way, and that's the best way.
What did it look like for you to learn things the hard way?
Working so much, like 16 hours a day, having so many clients, which is a good problem. And you're like, wow, I'm so good right now.
Right.
All these people like love me.
Right.
But I'm also 2 hours of sleep and not eating, and I think that when you get to that
not
point,
making the money that you should be for that amount of time you're spending.
Right. Then that's like, okay, wait, I need to upgrade.
Right.
And so that's just kind of like the pattern I've followed up until now. And I'm still like every single year I'm updating. My prices are changing.
Every
year.
Year.
Yes.
What happens when you do that?
When I do that?
Yeah.
You know what? Like I was so scared. So I would say 2 years ago, I went from like an $800, like main package to like a couple thousands of, like a huge jump.
Big jump, yeah.
Huge jump. And on
Were you
top of that,
scared to do that?
I was scared to do that because I also had my own apartment and a studio and, but I reached a point where I was like, man, I can't keep paying rent for two places like this in Dallas, like where it's expensive and still be able to eat,
So did you think people weren't going to come to you anymore? Is that what?
I didn't think that. I knew it was going to shed a lot of my clientele.
Right.
But I just kind of like, I just had to make that risk because I was working. So, I would make myself sick.
Did that happen? Did you shed them?
I did. Yeah. I definitely lost a lot. Like it wasn't coming in as much, or I wasn't getting as much of a follow-up.
Right.
However, I noticed that when I made this jump, I still was, one shoot could last me a whole month.
Yeah.
And so instead of like 10 shoots in 1 month, I could do one shoot.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. I had so much time.
So you literally just needed 10% of what you were getting before.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, and also like when I decided to do this, I, did the cost of doing business calculator and I was like, okay, so I need to make this amount for one shoot. So yeah, I just knew I had to make that risk. And yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah. Also, I want to say that the mentality of the clientele I was keeping was amazing. And the mentality of the clientele that I was losing was like, it's a whole different mentality. When you raise your prices and put that value on your work, your clientele sees the value in it as well.
So it's not only the people that can afford it, but it's the people that value what you're doing.
Yeah, because I've had some clients where we've had to do a payment plan, but they love they love what I'm offering them.
To them.
It's worth it to them. Yes.
Right. So you weeded out kind of some people that weren't ideal either.
Yes.
At the same time.
Yes. It's weird. Yeah. When you go right into business, it's like the opposite of what you would think it would be, but yeah.
And so talk about the fashion styling a little bit. Is that how you word it? Fashion styling?
Yeah. Yes.
What does that look like? What does that mean for you?
Okay. So it's hard to, I guess I could talk about my inspiration. So, I love fashion, as you know. I subscribe to, I look at, I go shopping at exclusive places like Zara, Free People, Urban Outfitters. And so I also subscribe to their social media accounts. And so I'm constantly seeing what's in, and also like supermodels and what they're posting. And so I guess I'm just, that's kind of like where my inspiration started in seniors, and that I still subscribe to that. But now for seniors, I think my inspiration for the most part is their personality, who they are as a person, and what I think. So I hold in-person consultations beforehand. Yeah. And I love getting to see them and talk to them in person because I'm able to get a feel for their essence and who they are.
So it's more of a custom experience then.
Absolutely.
Because you're getting to know them.
Yes.
You're building a rapport.
Yes.
What do you do to get to know them? Because you can get to know somebody over a matter of weeks or months or years, but you have like an hour or so.
Yeah. So ahead of time, I send them a questionnaire and I ask them their favorite places to shop, what their style is, how do they like their makeup typically, and everything down to who their favorite celebrity is, what they like to listen to.
Really? So they come in and then you discuss that.
And so we talk about it. Okay. Yeah. And and I'm like, oh yes, girl, let me some Zara, let me some Free People,
Right.
you know, and we kind of become friends in that moment.
Right.
And that like helps me so much because I fall in love with them. And so when I finally have them come to the shoot, I'm able to bring that part out of them that I loved about them. And then, of course, we discuss their styling, and I create a Pinterest board for them, and they can literally just click on the pin and go straight to like the Free People and just buy it online. So like if they, so like if they don't have any idea how to style themselves or what, they can literally just go straight to like whatever I think fits their personality.
Right.
And just go straight to and buy it online.
So they're coming to you for that too, really.
Yeah.
Like your expertise in that area is a piece of the experience.
Yes.
And did you say you have like makeup artists and whatnot that you bring on site to help you with the seniors too, or is that just your fashion shoots?
Oh, no. I make it mandatory for seniors.
Okay.
Yes. So the hair and makeup artists that I work with, which I work with like about 2 to 3, exclusively, they are represented by agencies in Dallas.
Okay.
And so like their main thing is fashion and beauty and television and commercial print.
Yeah.
And so I love that. I mean, they know what's tasteful. They know what's in. Right. Also, like they're so hands-on with me too. Like we're like best friends pretty much. So, cause I work with them like, you know, twice a week.
Right.
And so it's a fun collaboration with me and the hair and makeup artist because they're there like helping with the fan, they're helping with like the clothing, and we're like coming up with ideas, and we're like, what could we use for our portfolio?
Right.
And it's so fun because a lot of the times, because we all work on fashion stuff as well.
Right.
They're able to use some of these senior portraits for their fashion portfolio.
How do you work that piece out from a business standpoint? Is it part of compensation, or is it just they get to take it for free? Or like if you take a great image of somebody that they helped style and they want to use it for their portfolio, is that part of the arrangement that you have with them that they get those images?
Nah. I mean, I think it's equally as much. I mean, they're not going to like, I mean, they totally have full reign to post.
I didn't know what sort of arrangement you had with them. Are they bringing you work? Is there like referrals that are happening, or are you displaying in their salons or whatever they may have your work in their salons? Is there co-marketing going on? That type of thing.
No, I mean they don't need. I mean they really don't. I mean no.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's a professional. I mean. I just pay them.
Right.
They're going rate.
Are they freelancers? Is that how?
No, so represented by agencies.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said that earlier.
Yeah, it's all good. So like, for example, for having it in their portfolio, they're able to show it to their agency and they get them like,
Of course. Okay.
So there's no like, they have to, post or bring a referral or
anything,
no,
right,
I pay them their going rate.
Right.
And it's like, we treat each senior shoot like a fashion shoot. And so I send my images to the senior as well as a hair and makeup artist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and how often do you shoot? Like how often does this happen?
With seniors?
Yes.
It's hard to say because I also take commercial work as well as, I'll even do anything that's like focused on fashion and beauty and portraiture. But definitely from like February to June, it's mainly it's like insane with seniors. Yeah. But I try to limit 2 shoots a week total.
You don't want to shoot more than twice a week.
Total. I mean,
regardless of what it is.
Any more than 2 shoots a week, I am even that's a lot for me, honestly. Yeah. Because I invest a lot of time and also into my retouching.
Right.
Any more than 2 shoots, I'm like dead.
You do all the retouching yourself?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you retouch every image that the client sees?
No.
Okay.
No. So the way that I work is so against industry standard.
Well, that's why I want to talk to you.
Like I can't tell you the countless photographers I've like watched or listened to on podcasts or whatever, like mentoring, they all say outsource your retouching, or
yes, a lot of people say that.
you know, make it efficient or whatever, or don't show your client the originals or whatever. And I go against all of that just because of what works for me. So the way that I shoot fast and a lot. So I'll take like 800 to 1,500 pictures per senior shoot. And so I'll cull it down to like 1 to 300. And then I'll have the senior come back and help me pick out her favorites.
You'll show them 300?
I'll show them. It's really not as much as it sounds. It really isn't, especially with like 4 outfits.
Hey, no judgment for me. If you can make it work, who am I to say anything about it?
It is so hard to narrow it down, trust me. Also because I'm constantly throwing out direction with posing. And so there's such a variety. But like as we're there calling down with the senior, I'm also being decisive and helping them pick. Like I think
you're doing that in person. They're coming back in for like an ordering appointment.
So they order ahead of time. So we already know exactly how many pictures they're going to get. Right. So when they come to pick out the pictures, for example, we know that she's getting 20.
Right.
So we narrow it down to 20, which is always kind of hard.
I've heard that before.
I know, it's same. Like I've never heard of another photographer doing this.
So
but
they come in and they say, I'm going to want 20 images.
Well, we already know that's what we're doing.
Initially, they say that before the shoot even.
So I have collections, like different packages, and the majority between the 4 packages is 20 images, because that makes for, in my opinion, a good portfolio for an album.
So are they getting an album as well, or are you giving them digital files, or how does that work?
So all of the collections just come with different things, but I always suggest an album or memory box so that they have every single image that's edited printed. But I mean, the albums are like the coolest thing ever.
Right.
So, yeah. What was Oh, so the reason I have them come and pick them out, first of all, why in person?
Right.
Because I do not want them having the original like on their computer or on their phone.
Yep.
I want them to leave without like I know that they'll forget how the original looks compared to the final. I do not want them comparing before and after.
Sure. I get it.
Yeah. But it is my goal that they are not able to tell what I did to it.
Right.
Yeah. Right. It still has to have like their likeness.
Right.
And the reason I have them come pick them out is because if they're anything like me, I am super picky about how I look in pictures.
Yeah.
And so and I've also learned through time that especially sometimes their moms want a specific expression
of
their daughter, of their baby girl that I would have never picked.
Right. No, I get it.
Yeah. And sometimes it's their favorite one.
Right.
So
you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Right.
And so that'll be the one that they print super huge on a canvas, you know?
Yeah. And you're like, okay.
So yeah, I think she looks, like okay, but
I totally get that. What sort of advice do you have for the people that are coming in to the industry right now, and considering it's not getting easier to break in? Would you agree with that it's getting harder to break into the industry?
Here's the way I see that, I guess, is if a market is saturated with the same type of, say, photography, and I'm just getting into it, I would try to see first of all, what kind of photography I gravitate more towards and what I have more fun doing. Yeah. Be decisive about going with that, and, you got to experiment, right. Like figuring out what kind of photography you want to do. Right. For me, I always knew it was going to be fashion. But instead of seeing all these competitors around you, try to see them as, it's awesome that you have them as examples, and then figure out your slot in the industry to make yourself different from all of them. So take little bits and pieces from your inspiration from what they have to offer, and then what do you have to offer that is unique to separate yourself from them. Right.
Stay true to yourself.
Yes, always stay true to yourself, for sure.
Where can people find you online?
So I have my senior stuff separated from my main stuff. And so Oh gosh, I got to update. Ugh.
Uh-oh.
It's all good. So my main website is www.nicolettemollet.com. And then my senior website is www.seniorsbynicollette.com.
Okay.
And so everything on social media will be Nicollette Mollet or Seniors by Nicollette.
Okay. I'll make sure that people get out there and find you.
All right.
We'll
Awesome.
push them your way.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing this.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well,
really, this was fun.
I hope you had a good time here at Push 2018.
Oh my gosh, I've had such a blast. But I know I'm going to go home and pass out.
Yeah.
And sleep for a couple days.
Because the day's not over. There's a big thing tonight.
I know. Right after this, I'm going to have to go do my hair,
Right.
my makeup.
Right. You got to go get ready.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving me this slot.
Thank you so much.
Have a good
Appreciate
one.
you. You too.